From around the globe to the heart of Pawpet Land comes the Pawpets crew with the latest news update. With your newscasters, Crackle the Raven and Mockingbird, ready to enlighten your world. This is A Little Birdie Told Me, an Pawpets news bulletin. And now, here's Crackle Raven with the latest report.
Good evening and welcome to another update. I'm Crackle Raven, your fine feather-friendly news reporter for the Pawpets News. The band AC/DC releases its first album in 6 years, but times could be better for drummer Phil Rudd, as he is currently being charged with attempting to procure murder, threatening to kill, and possession of cannabis and methamphetamines. Authorities of Tarouanga searched through Rudd's home after gaining a tip-off about his suspicious activities, and he was questioned by authorities that day. Eyewitnesses saw Rudd speaking with the authorities on his balcony, along with a woman who appeared to be wearing a negligee. Rudd later appeared in court barefooted, saying not a word during his case, did not apply to suppress his name, and was bailed until November 27th. According to the charges, Rudd has hired one person to kill 2 people between September 25th and the 26th. The rest of his bandmates intend to release the new album Rock or Bust as scheduled in Europe on November 23rd and worldwide on December 2nd. However, most of the promotions, including photos and videos to help promote the new album, may not include Rudd due to his current legal issue. Lead singer Brian Johnson has stated to fans that Rudd's temporary disappearance was due to family emergencies. Those of you that use the metaphor about a deceased man that could win an election can no longer be far from the truth, as Roger Freeman is escalating in the polls for re-election to be the state Democratic representative, even though he died last week. Freeman held 53% of the votes compared to that of his challenger on the Republican docket, Jack Dovey. Freeman, age 48, died last week after a battle with cancer. His death occurred after the ballots have been mailed to Washington voters, where all the voting there is done by mail. Once all the ballots are finalized, assuming Freeman does win the re-election, Democrats will still hold onto a seat at the House of Representatives, and the 3 names within Freeman's 2-county district will be selected for a temporary replacement. There, it will be decided for one of the 3 candidates to reside on the seat for the 1 year. According to the state election rules, the seat will then be on the ballot in 2015 to fill out the remainder of the 2-year term. Says Brian Zarsta, a spokesperson of the Secretary of State's office, this is extremely rare, but there are protocols in place. Should the Republican candidate win the re-election, he will take the seat in Olympia at the start of the next legislative session. In Thousand Oaks, California, a woman accused of illegally entering the home of a resident she met at an online dating website was rescued, treated, and later arrested as she attempted to sneak into her online date's home through his chimney. The woman later identified as Genoveva Nunez-Figeroa, a 30-year-old fellow Thousand Oaks resident. The man who opted not to be identified has dated Nunez-Figeroa 6 times before he decided to no longer pursue the relationship. Nunez-Figeroa, outraged by the results of the relationship, snuck onto the man's roof and attempted to slip into the chimney to break into the man's home, but was unsuccessful when she had gotten stuck. Her cries of help were heard by neighbors, and rescue workers were then called to begin dismantling the chimney and then lubricated the flue with dish soap in an attempt to pull the woman free. After the suit-covered Nunez-Figeroa was pulled out of the chimney, she was taken to local hospital where she was treated. When she was released, she was arrested on charges of illegal entry and submitting false information to police, and is currently detained. The home's resident is thinking twice before joining any more online dating services, and reports to others that he is going to be a lot more cautious as to whom he allows into his home in the future, and cautions others to follow the same advice. And in local news, Pawpet Land resident Kurt Bond reported that he can now talk to the deceased through his iPhone. After downloading an unusual app, he began hearing strange whispering sounds through his phone's speakers. Here with more detail on that story is our own reporter, Mockingbird. Well, Crackle, I'm here with Kurt Bond, and he has stated that dead people are talking to him on his iPhone. Kurt, can you be sure that this is precise?
Oh, yes, Mockingbird. As precise as I can be. I was browsing the App Store when I came across this strange app on how to communicate with the dead. Well, I had a lot of friends and family members that passed on, and I wanted to talk to them. But it seems the reception wasn't all that great, so I decided to give it another try, and the next morning, when I awoke, I heard the sounds of people whispering through my speaker. And when I went to check the phone, I saw this photo had been taken during the night.
Wow. And you're certain you didn't take this photo?
Oh yes, as certain as a heart attack. which strangely enough is how one of the spirits I talked with had died of.
Well, what else did they say?
Oh, I don't know if it was difficult to make out. It sounded as if I was listening to about 15 different spirits whispering stuff to me, and the only things I could make out were the words help, money, David Hasselhoff, and Christmas.
Wow. It is quite strange for the spirits to utter such things. Have you been able to make out anything else the spirits have uttered?
No, not yet. Well, I'm guessing that the spirits know something about David Hasselhoff, and that he's in need of help this Christmas. But I could be wrong.
Oh my, oh my. Folks, are you hearing this?
Sounds as if, one of them is saying 7 days, over and over again. 7 days, 7 days. 7 days from when?
7 days until Hasselhoff goes Christmas shopping and needs help carrying his gifts home?
7 days until people come and help David Hasselhoff this Christmas? Maybe you spent all of his Night Rider residuals.
Maybe it's David Hasselhoff's spirit asking for help for a better Christmas this year. Huh, who knows?
Wait a minute, David Hasselhoff isn't dead, is he?
Well, he may not be dead, but his career sure is. Well, however the outcome, we sure hope you'll be able to, put the pieces of this unusual puzzle together. While we're on the subject of your unusual discovery, how does it feel to have your phone inhabited by spirits?
That's how it feels. Many people would find this discomforting, but I actually think it comes in handy. Well, they help me find items in my home that are lost, they make sure my house is protected, and one of the spirits helps me with the new recipes. Although I do get woken up during the night by unseen screams heard throughout my house, but you have to take the bad with the good, I'm guessing.
Well, it seems to me that you have become well adapted by the invading spirits, and we hope that, they don't pose any sort of threat to your current living situation.
Well, thank you, Mockingbird. I've been dealing with spirits and the unknown for years. Well, this is just another walk in the cemetery for me.
Well, anytime, and if you do end up getting possessed by any of these spirits, we'll be sure to get it on the action first, before any other networks do. Reporting for Little Birdie Told Me News, I'm Mockingbird. Thank you, Mockingbird. I suppose we don't need to send out a Catholic priest to bless Kurt Bond's phone this time, but it is something to consider at any rate. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of A Little Birdie Told Me, the Pawpets News. Keep tuning in for the latest reports in and around Pawpet Land and around the globe. I'm Crackle Raven, your fine, feathered, friendly news reporter, signing off. Thanks for watching.